Alright everyone, welcome back. I've got another manga book here for you on the Manga Spotlight. I am Rayron VR. Today we're going to be taking a look at Dragon Goes House Hunting Volume 1. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back here and see what we got. Alright, so we got Home Sweet Home. Letty's not very good at being a dragon. Actually, he's terrible at one that his dad went and kicked him out of the house. What a skittish monster of myth to do in the world where everyone sees him as a material for their next suit of armor. Why find a safe place to call home? Of course. With the help of a slightly evil elvish architect, Letty's quest for the ultimate draconic Demical begins. Alright, so for this particular manga, it is rated teen. I would argue that it probably should be older teen because there is a little bit of nudity when it comes in here. You got mythical creatures such as the harpy, and that's pretty much all I'm going to say about that. So it is made by Seven Seas Entertainment. So for this particular manga, there is basically one phrase that I can use for it. It is a fantasy comedy. If you're into that stuff, this manga is definitely for you. It's very self-aware, very meta. So with that, we're going to go ahead and talk about spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, feel free to watch this video at a later time. But with that, let's take a look at our table of contents here. Alright, so we got House 1. Again, I love when manga takes a spin on chapters. It's pretty interesting. Many different homes. House 2, the trap house. House 3, the house of the dead. House 4, the supply store. And House 5, my first home. So the whole premise of this manga is pretty much in the title. You've got a dragon here who does not really know how to be a dragon. His father kicks him out of the nest, I guess is the best way to describe it. Because he was trying to protect an egg and he fails at that. He fell asleep and the egg was captured. And so Letty, our main protagonist, Red Dragon here, was kicked out. And so he goes on a quest to find a new home. So basically, it is very comedy-centric focus for this particular manga. Letty tries to go through and try to find a home. He visits the dwarfs, can't necessarily find a home there. Visits the harpies, can't find a home there. The Sawwigan, which is basically like lizard people, best way I can describe it. And he tried to live with the goblins. Obviously, he is a big red dragon. All those other species can't necessarily have a home for him. So just when everything feels like he can't find a home, the goblins point him in the direction of an elf. We're introduced to another character here, male elf, called Diria. And Diria helps our red dragon here try to find a home. So we go through the process of house hunting, which is kind of hilarious because if you've been through the house hunting process, you'll definitely have a lot of correlation and sympathy for our main character of the dragon here, because they try to find the perfect house for him. Again, it's very meta. The elf hands him a card of like, yeah, I deal with properties and selling homes and real estate and all that. So it is very self-aware of the real world that we live in. So it's interesting. It's very meta, a little too comedic in my opinion, but a good story nevertheless. So our main male elf, along with our red dragon Letty, they continue to try to find a house. So the first house we go to is a trap dungeon house. And you want to talk about the amount of references that are in this book to modern day pop culture. It is insane. I'm not going to go into them because I want you guys to enjoy a lot of pop culture references in here, from video gaming to movies to other mangas. It is kind of ridiculous how much references and Easter eggs are in this particular manga. It's kind of funny. And then we go to the House of the Dead, which is like a spooky, evil realm, hell realm, essentially, where this house is. And obviously our dragon is not wanting to live in that house. And then we go to the next possible option, which is customizing his own house. So Daria takes him to a witch's store, which shows all sorts of sizes when it comes to furniture, to doorways, to decorations. It's actually pretty cool when you get to those particular panels of the witch's store. After that, they kind of settle on customizing their own house, and then it goes into the point that, well, how's a dragon going to pay for this new house? Because again, it's super meta when it comes to this. And pretty much the way that we're going to pay for is that the Daria, the elf, has some fighters that could be tenants of Letty's new home. And so that's kind of how the game plan works a little bit, so that way they can pay off the debts and so forth. But it gets kind of crazy. It gets to the point that our red dragon is so humble, so nice, that he takes in a lot of travelers and questers and so forth. And eventually, word gets around that he is just this humble dragon, and then he essentially gets treated like a king in his own castle, essentially. And it gets so crazy for him that he said he's had enough. It's not his own house anymore, that it's no longer the place he wants to live in. And then our main characters, Daria and Letty, go off into the sunset to find the perfect house for our main red dragon. So they're still on the hunt to find the perfect place for our dragon. But this manga is just hilarious from start to finish. It is very self-aware. There's a ton of cultural references in here. And if you're looking for a good laugh, then I would highly recommend this manga. Don't look for anything too serious. There are some great life lessons in here, especially about house hunting. I think that's kind of cool that they took the normal day adventure of trying to own a house or go house hunting into a fantasy realm. It is really unique, to say the least. But yeah, it's such a fantasy comedy, and it's just a great little read. I was able to read this in one day, and the illustrations are really nice. The panels definitely depict high fantasy, essentially. So I'll give you kind of a quick peek in here. And basically, we've got our dragon here, who's, again, very self-aware. But it's like we get to see the stats from the red dragon, Letty. So level 52, HP, stamina, all that stuff. So again, you can make your own conclusions on what reference they're making there. But just to give you a little taste of just the amount of references in this book, it's great. The dragon is really well drawn. All the other characters in here are well drawn. The panels are nice. Very good high fantasy quality when it comes to illustrations. But I really had a great time with this manga. It made me laugh. And just pointing out all the little references just made me smile. So with that, guys, if you're having a bad day, I would highly recommend picking up this manga. I think you'll get a good chuckle out of it. But with that, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.